Hey guys, NCS Fan 001 here. Long time no see for a more live type video. So this is the weekly trophy list update look video, whatever you want to call it. This will be going up on Monday, May 13th, 2019. So we'll have covered, I guess that would be April 30th, or no, April 29th through May 12th. I believe that would be the correct dates. So, as you guys know, I was gone for a week pretty much. I was on vacation with family. It was great. It was much needed, relaxing, just a chance to sort of unwind a little bit and do thinking on life and all that kind of stuff. And it was very good. Plus, I uploaded a few videos while I was gone that were just scheduled uploads. It all did pretty well. So, naturally, along with that, though, I didn't really get to do too much trophy hunting in the last couple weeks. I played a total of 5 games over the last 2 weeks. So, the first one I did was I actually went back to Call of Duty Ghosts on the PS3 for a minute. Not to focus heavily on Extinction Mode because it's not going to be fun, but what I did do was I returned to do all 4 extra XP challenges. Now, each of these required you to go into the multiplayer maps for these DLCs, which is actually interesting that they made you do that. You had to go into each of the multiplayer DLC maps and shoot like a cryptid egg that was hidden on the map. I think you could do it in squads or in Safeguard, so that was a good thing. Or I'm pretty sure you could do it in Safeguard at the very least. And that allows you to do it much more easily than having to go through multiplayer in which you'd never be able to get it done. But I did that and was able to... And the nice thing about it actually is that if you do it on one version, which I've already done it on the PS4, it carries over to the PS3 version and vice versa. Meaning that I only had to do it once. And then in this one, I just had to go into each of the 4 extinction maps and get it and just clear the first objective in each extinction map, and that got the trophies unlocked. So, easy bronze trophies, just wanted to get them done. I was sort of thinking about them recently, just wanting to get something multiplayer related done. So technically that means that everything left is just co-op gameplay, no actual online needed except for, co-op partners. So that's a good thing. So I've also actually been looking into the DLCs a little bit, and I was looking at the guides for the DLCs. It looks like they aren't quite as difficult as I always thought they would be. From what I've read, Devastation and Invasion are both like on par with the base game, so nothing terribly difficult. Though I think that these are like, yeah, you have to defeat the bosses or complete the maps using a relic, all challenges, and get out, which is awful. Not looking forward to that, but the rest are fairly reasonable. I believe this one requires 2 relics, which isn't really that much of a bigger deal if you have a full team of people who are sort of carrying you through it. But then the other 2 DLCs are a little bit of a different story. I think that Nemesis, this one, has like an Easter egg that you can do in it that is going to make things easier. I think it does from what I've read, but I don't know how true that is. I don't really know how hard this one's going to be because there's a couple of tougher looking trophies in this one, like a relic on hardcore is not going to be fun. And then this map is more like the other DLCs, but it's just a little bit harder of a map. I think it is considered to be the hardest of the DLCs if you use some kind of Easter egg for this one. I don't know entirely how true that is, but that's just what I've heard, so we'll see. I would rather get the PS4 version done first because it's going to be easier to find people to do it with, but I do want to definitely try to get the PS3 version done someday because I'm currently only missing 3 Call of Duty games on the PS3, which are Ghosts. I have the Platinum, just a lot of DLC. Black Ops 1, I'm missing 6 DLC trophies, and Black Ops 2, I'm missing, I think, 12 DLC trophies. It might not even be that many. I need to take a look at that, because I know that there's at least a few trophies from the DLCs that I could go ahead and get done solo and probably should go do. So then we have Destiny 2. I've been working on Forsaken. 41% completion on Forsaken, which means nothing given some of the trophies. But I completed an exotic quest, the one that you get for completing a lot of the story. It's the Cade side quest or exotic quest that gets you the Ace of Spades exotic weapon. So that's the only trophy I got in here. All the others still are in progress. But as for the 10 exotic, no, that's not it. Where is it? This one. 10 exotic Forsaken weapons and armor. I am currently at 4, which is not terrible. I'm slowly making progress. Xur sells them every few weeks or so. So that's great. I will slowly make my way to that. I have a couple more exotic quests currently available anyway, so I will eventually get that for sure, and I will probably eventually get the collections badge, but I need to look into exactly what that requires. Like I said, I think this is a story-related trophy because I still have some missions left in the DLC. I'm on to, like, repairing some kind of amulet. And I don't think this one's going to be terribly difficult. It's mainly just the Last Wish raid and the Triumph Seal that I'm most worried about. Especially the Triumph Seal. I don't think the raid's going to be terrible if I just get people to carry me through it. But I know nothing about this raid at all because no one seemed to be that interested in it or the game at that point in time. But I may wait until the Year 3 expansion to do Last Wish because by then I can purchase that DLC and that will allow me to level up a lot more, have a lot more power, light, whatever you want to call it in this game. So that's good. Then, Resident Evil 5 100% completion on PS4. I am very happy to finally announce that that is done. So this past week, the only trophies I had left were 15 matches in Survivors and Team Survivors. So for those who haven't done this game, the matches in Slayers only take 3 minutes in both regular and Team Slayers, so that means that technically you can do both of these trophies if in a 4-person group where every single person needs the trophies. Actually, no, that's not a good explanation for that. For this one, you only need 2 people for Slayers and Survivors, so with 2 people that both need to get all 60 wins that both need 30 wins between the 2 game modes, that means 60 wins total. So for this one, that's 30 matches that are 3 minutes apiece, so it takes about an hour and a half for both players to finish Slayers. That's not too bad. But for this one, it takes 5 minutes per match, and with 30 matches, that is 2.5 hours needed. So about 4 hours to boost the solo modes and get the individual trophies from them, which are both very easy, especially if you're boosting them. The team matches are the real problem because they require 4 people. Now, Team Slayers still only takes an hour and a half because it's still only 3 minutes. But it does have arguably the most difficult of the miscellaneous trophies, the 40 defeated combo. That one is a little bit trickier just because 40 defeated combo can take a little bit of luck and a little bit of skill and a little bit of coordination. But we eventually got it. It wasn't too bad overall. And then Team Survivors is probably the worst because it requires the most amount of time with 4 people. Because it's 2.5 hours required for 4 people to do it. And, getting 4 people to stay together, not always the most efficient thing in the world. But thankfully, it is done. Finally got this game done on PS4. The good thing about the PS3 version, while the PS3 version does take twice as long because the miscellaneous trophies are the same, this one may be 100 physical attacks, but I could be wrong on that. I'm not 100% sure. But I do know that all these require 30 wins in each game mode, so it takes at least twice as long. And I also believe that this trophy right here, Let's Get the Party Started, is actually harder on the PS3 version, but it's just a grind. So anyway, between all of that, I will eventually do the PS3 version because most of it can be boosted with 2 consoles. Like, everything except for the team modes can be boosted with 2 consoles, and those could technically be boosted either with 4 consoles, if I ever want to go that far, or they can be boosted with another player that has 2 consoles, or even just 2 other players, but it won't take 4 total players, which makes it a little easier to coordinate on my part. So that won't be as bad to coordinate. It will just take absolutely forever. So estimate, Slayers will take just as long, and Survivors will take just as long because I'll just be boosting those with my second PS3. It's these 2 trophies that are going to suck because they're going to take twice as long. Not looking forward to that. But overall, it's going to at least be tolerable and not horribly time-consuming. Because for the other DLCs, I did these quite a long time ago. Lost in Nightmares is not really that hard just because Lost in Nightmares only has a handful of enemies and you can run around most of them. So you don't have to do a whole lot of killing. It requires a little bit of luck in the big room where you have to deal with like 4 of the really big guys and a couple other areas where they may spawn randomly. But it's not really that hard. It's completely possible to do solo. The S rank I don't remember being very difficult. Professional, like I said, it takes a little bit of luck, but it's not terrible. This one you can get on your normal playthrough, and this one you can get on your normal playthrough. Desperate Escape is a bit harder. The S rank in completing it, and the 150 enemies, and even the Agitator Magini, none of those are particularly hard. It's mostly this one right here, completing it on Professional. Now, I did not have any issues doing it solo, but that was also back right when it came out. I went to help a friend try to do this one in co-op, and not only did we struggle with a number of areas, but we just could not get through the final area, even after an hour of attempting it. Now, this was partially because we got kind of a bad setup of weapons in the DLC. We got a couple good weapons, but we only got one rocket launcher. If you have two, it makes the final battle way easier. Either two rocket launchers or at the very least a Magnum. We never got a Magnum, and that would have made the final area significantly easier with the big guys that come after you and the chainsaws. So we got kind of unlucky with the weapons, and I think if we'd gotten better luck with the weapons, we would have been able to do it, but it's also harder in co-op for whatever reason. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It's adapted difficulty to a degree. But I don't remember ever having any issues with beating it on Professional solo, at least in the PS4 version. Now, I still need to do this trophy, actually, on the PS3 version, along with the entire Versus DLC. I'll get it eventually, just not really looking forward to it because the PS3 version is harder by quite a big margin, just because the AI is way dumber and you bleed out faster and stuff, so we'll see. I mean, eventually I'll be able to do it. Hopefully on that version I probably will actually try to bring in a partner just to make it a little bit easier. But that's Resident Evil 5, so that's 3 games down. Then, for my 375th Platinum, the only Platinum I got in the past 2 weeks, just because I wanted to get a quick and easy one done and get it out of my inventory of games, was I did the EU version of Stormboy. I already did the PS4 version on the North American version. I don't know why I said PS4 version, it's only on PS4. Like I said before, this is a fairly enjoyable, really quick, easy Platinum trophy. It doesn't really take any effort to do. It takes about 15 to 20 minutes. This is probably the hardest trophy in the game just because the controls are not particularly good with throwing the fish out, but it's still an easy enough trophy. I mean, everything in this game is super easy. It's all gold trophies. It's basically just participating in all the mini-games, then playing all the mini-games a second time on the Remember menu, and just completing the game. And that's really all you have to do. It's a very, very easy overall Platinum trophy. It takes 15 to 20 minutes. It's a decent little story. So would definitely recommend picking this one up. It's $6, I think, for each version, but I bought both of them on sales for like $1 a piece or $2 a piece, so that made it much more tolerable. So then finally, Red Dead Redemption 2. I actually have been jumping back into this on occasion. So with the trophies, thankfully there's no DLC yet. With the 100% completion, I'm getting fairly close. I finished 75 of the 90 challenges, so I have 15 more challenges. I have to get a few more weapons, and I have to finish the exotic quests. And that's all I have left, I think, for the 100%. Oh, and the legendary fish. I still need to get the legendary fish. So that is actually coming along quite nicely. Just a few of these remaining challenges are kind of annoying, but the main one I'm working on right now is trying to get the 8 small game animals with consecutive small game arrows. And what I'm going to try to do is just hang around Saint Denis for as long as needed to get the event that pops up there every now and then where you have to kill rats inside of a bar, because that's a really good chance to get it because they're very easy to hit with small game arrows. So that's what I'm going to save for that. The other challenges are not generally that hard, but it just takes forever. You know, riding halfway across the map at any given time just to do one objective just takes absolutely forever, time that I don't really always have or want to spend. The 70 gold medals is shaping up to be a little bit trickier than I thought, just because some of the requirements are a little bit strict, and because you can skip cutscenes, but this game is so obsessed with those long riding sequences where you just have to ride your horse somewhere, and it takes absolutely forever to do like anything in the missions, and you can't skip that just to end up missing one of the objectives because they don't carry over between playthroughs. If there were two things I would say that would be great additions or fixes to the game, it would be some sort of better fast travel system for the campaign. You know, one that works from anywhere. That would make it so much better and make the 100% a lot more tolerable. Not necessarily easier, but just significantly more tolerable and less time consuming, because it's just a waste of time having to constantly run across the map, because it takes like 20 minutes to go by horse from one side of the map to the other. So it's a lot of time that I don't always have. But I will eventually get this done. I've talked about it before that I wouldn't mind having Red Dead 2 as my 400th platinum, because I think that would be a solid number 400, but we shall see. I mean, I can probably get the story done if I really just sit down for a while, at least the 100%, but the gold medals is just kind of annoying. Otherwise, though, from the single player, the only other trophy I'm missing is the Grin and Bear It. From the single player, so I'm only missing 3 trophies in the single player. The Grin and Bear It's just a grind, and it's probably going to be the trophy I save for last. Either that or hitting level 50 in the multiplayer. We'll see which one I decide to save for last. This trophy's not hard, it's just really time consuming because it takes forever to grind. So now we get to the multiplayer, and I have actually been starting to make a bit of progress in the multiplayer. So the most recent trophy I earned, the only one I earned in the past 2 weeks, was Eventful. Play 5 free roam events. They are randomly generated, but not difficult at all to find 5 of them over the course of the game. Shouldn't have any problems with it. The 5 gold belt buckles I already knew was not going to be that hard, but it's actually even easier than I thought, because just through natural play, just basically messing around in my first, I'm a level 13 or 14 right now, and I already have 4. Like, I literally already have 4, so only 1 more, which I will absolutely get by the time I reach level 50, so pretty much unmissable while going to level 50, which is really nice. I mean, gold belt buckles, like, you get them for some really easy tasks. The MVP 3 times, it doesn't have to be done in a row like it did in the first game, which makes this significantly easier. I would suggest doing it in racing events. You might even be able to boost it, I don't know. This trophy is just really expensive. It requires like $1,500 to do. I only own 1 horse because you have to pay for the extra stables. Level 50 is very time consuming. It's like a 50 to 100 hour grind depending on what methods you're using to do it. It's not difficult, which is the same thing about GTA 5, is it's not actually hard to do. It's just really time consuming. I mean, the game's still in beta though, so I'm assuming that once it gets out of beta, hopefully there will be more, like, a good game mode or a good way to grind it more easily. Countering a rival posse's free roam mission. This one, I know it's very common, but since I mostly play solo, I think I'm just going to be better off finding someone to boost this quickly with, because you can do so very easily. Just because I never really play with anyone else. I mean, maybe if I did, or, I mean, maybe I will get it naturally by just joining other people's posses when I'm messing around. Because I really just need to dedicate like a week to sit down and really play this game in all of my free time, whether it be through the online or through working on the 100% and the gold medals. And I would probably be able to make very good progress within like a week of just doing so. It's just not something I've been looking as forward to because I'm into the more boring, grindy aspects of the game. So if I don't get that one through natural progression by like level 45, I'll just find someone to boost it really quick. It won't take more than a few minutes. Then we got to purchase 5 camp improvements. That one's fairly expensive. I think you can purchase the flags, but it's also glitched, and if you ever buy anything with gold, you can screw yourself. The 25 pieces of ammo is very easy. It's not even that expensive. You can't do it until you're like a level 20 or so and can purchase some recipes. And then all of these trophies are easy. Nothing difficult about any of these. The persistent posse is like $200, which is a little bit expensive, but nothing else is actually difficult there. So now we've got some more stuff to talk about after I give you my stats. We're at level 65, 80%, 16,334 total trophies, 375 platinums, 2,091 golds, 4,154 silvers, 9,714 bronzes. So there's a couple things that I'm going to be discussing for the next probably 10 to 15 minutes. First off, the games that I want to continue working on at the moment are, of course, still Red Dead 2 because I'm making decent progress in it. I may end up pushing The Division back a little bit because I don't think I'm going to have time to do it in May. So I'm going to probably push it back to another time period. Maybe push it back into the June through August time period. And then Borderlands Game of the Year Edition, that's another one, is that they still haven't done anything about the Mad Moxie DLC, which means I'm not about to spend time on it. I mean, I got through one Coliseum, which is good, but I don't want to do the other two until I know it's working, given that it crashed on me as I was exiting the Coliseum. So if I had taken like one more minute, it would have screwed me. Some people figured out they think they know what the problem is, that it has to do with there being too many body parts on the screen at once. And some people have found limited success by using corrosive and fire weapons, incendiary weapons, on most of the enemies. Shock isn't going to do anything for you, and explosive will actually just make everything worse. But by using those two types of weapons, they found it to work better, or like get more of the parts off the screen. And additionally to that, the time apparently does not matter, because people have tested that, and it turns out that the amount of time you take to do it doesn't actually make a difference. So that myth has been put to rest. So really, my main priority for May would now really be doing Black Ops 1, the DLC. So if there's anyone out there that is willing to play through the Black Ops 1 DLC with me, please let me know in the comments, because I'm going to need at least one partner for Call of the Dead and Moon. And then I'm going to need 4 people total for the Shangri-La Easter egg, because I don't think there's a way I can AFK that with a fork controller. Maybe you could, depending on what you... I need to look more into the Easter egg and see how much of it actually requires an active players. Like, I know that I would need at least 2 active players overall, but I wonder if you actually need 4 active people to do it, or if you could do one of your players as a second console, or even just, a second controller. Because if so, that would make it a lot easier to coordinate if they don't matter. Plus, that would make it easier because then only 3 people, or even only 2 people, would have to actually do it and actually get the focusing stone, because I think only one person can get it in a round. So, beyond that, though, I know that with Call of the Dead and with Moon, you need 2 active people, so I'll be going for those. I really want to get those done, and I still really want to get the Division done. If anyone out there can help me with survival mode, carry me through it, I will be greatly appreciative. So, eventually, hit me up if you or anyone you know would be willing to help me. And then the other games I kind of want to work on are just Monkey Island 1 and 2 on the PS3, the 100%. I just want to do those and just get them done like I've talked about before with Telltale. I mean, even though they aren't technically Telltale. And then over the summer, when there are going to be more people out there available to play, I mean, I'm sure I'll be working a new job probably at some point this summer, but whenever I have free time, at nights and on weekends, I would love to be able to work on Far Cry 2, Uncharted 2, and Battlefield 3. Now, with 2 consoles, I'll be able to have half the people I need for Battlefield 3. I'll be able to boost a majority of Far Cry 2, but Uncharted 2 is going to be a bit more of a pain. Not looking forward to Uncharted 2. And I may even up Resident Evil 5's PS3 version into this time zone just to get it done. And Resident Evil 6 as well, because Resident Evil 6 on the PS3, as it turns out, almost all of it can be done with 2 people. Most of it, except for maybe 2 trophies, can be done with 2 people, which makes it fairly easy to boost and completely possible to boost with 2 consoles. So that's actually a really positive thing about that, in that I will be able to do that game and get, that's the worst rated game currently on my list of all the games in terms of completion percentage. I'm at 20-something% because I never really touched it after the first week it came out. But then that's my goal for June through August, really specifically right now, is Far Cry 2, Uncharted 2, and Battlefield 3. September, I would want to work on Red Dead 1 and Resident Evil 5 on PS3. But thankfully those are PS3 games and I can boost at least some of it with multiple consoles. I'm getting to a point where I'm almost willing to go out and buy at least a third PS3, like a cheap used one somewhere. Because that would give me half the people I need for every game left on my list, I think. Because of all the games currently left on my list on PS3 that require multiple people that can be boosted without, co-op play like the Call of Duty games, Battlefield 3, I think, requires 4 people to do everything. Or it requires at most 4 people. But you need to have 4 people to start a private lobby or a rented server anyway to get you trophies. Far Cry 2 requires 3 people for everything, or it requires no more than 3 people except for War Party. So with 3 people, I'd be able to self-boost everything. Uncharted 2 and Uncharted 3, I think, require 6 people, and those are going to be the more problematic of all of them, because I'm never going to own 6 PS3s unless I win the lottery. I mean, I don't even know if I'll own 4 unless I win the lottery. But otherwise, there is Red Dead 1. I think everything except for Poker Ace can be boosted with 2 people. Or no, that's not true. There's another trophy that requires you to get, I think it's like 3 kills during a standoff. That one requires 4 people, and Poker Ace requires 6. Everything else I'm missing requires 2, because I finished Kingpin years ago out of dumb luck. I got it done, and it's the one that requires like 10. So that one's at least done. Thankfully, I never have to deal with that one again. So that's Red Dead and those games. And then what else do I have? Resident Evil 6 takes 2 or at most 3 people to do, so thankfully it's not too bad. So really, a lot of my remaining PS3 games that aren't these 3 Call of Duty games that require active players, a lot of them I can do a majority of with just 3 controllers, or 3 consoles I mean, and having 3 consoles would be half the people I need for anything else except for War Party on Far Cry 2. If Uncharted 2 and 3 can be boosted with 6 people, then that would be half of what I need. And then I would only need 1 partner for Resident Evil 5. So I'm gonna see how cheap I can manage to get a used PS3. If I can get one for super, super cheap, I will pick up a 3rd one and maybe even a 4th one someday. We will see, because it might be a worthwhile investment just to speed up some of this boosting. And with 4 of them, it would mean the only things I wouldn't be able to do on my own that are currently on my list are those 3 Call of Duty games, because those require co-op play. So those 3. I would not be able to do the Poker Ace trophy in Red Dead 1, and I would not be able to do the War Party trophy in Far Cry 2, and I don't think I would be able to do Uncharted 2 or 3, but I would be able to help speed up the process a little bit with multiple. So yeah, you guys can give me your inputs on all of that, on all my thoughts with that, and tell me if I'm correct or not. More important, or honestly more importantly than that though, is plans for the rest of the month, specifically in my life, is that really I'm not going to be, I don't know what my schedule is going to look like the rest of the month, because I'm going to be headed home this coming weekend. I'm planning to leave probably Saturday morning, so this week's drunk stream might be on Thursday again, just so that I can get a good night's sleep Friday. So do keep that in mind. I might be doing a drunk stream on Thursday instead of Friday this week. There will be a stream on Wednesday or Tuesday, so the goal this week is this video will go up on Monday. There will be a stream or a Platinum Trophy video on Tuesday. Wednesday will be a stream or the Platinum Trophy video again, so it'll depend on which day I decide I'm gonna head home. Thursday, maybe a stream or maybe nothing. Friday will either be a stream or nothing, a drunk stream or nothing, or Thursday will be a drunk stream or nothing. We'll see. I haven't made up my full decision yet, because I'm planning on leaving Saturday, but I could leave. I mean, I don't think I'm going to leave Friday just because the traffic's going to be bad. You know, before the weekend, it's always bad. If you want to drive, if you want to travel, Saturdays are usually really good, because that's when people are already out and about because they leave on Friday. So Saturdays are generally a good day to travel and make long drives, because it's like a 7.5 hour drive, not counting stops. So I'm probably going to leave on Saturday morning, and I won't be back up here for a couple weeks. I'll be back home. I mean, I'll have my PS4 with me, and I'll probably have my Switch with me. I'm not going to take my PS3 with me, most likely, because I don't really want to bother with that. But I would bring my other PS3 back with me, so I'd be able to start self-boosting some stuff. So with all of that, I'm going to be hanging out with my friend, my neighbor, and some of our other friends a lot during that time. I think we're going to maybe go to the beach starting like next Tuesday, and we're going to stay there for like a solid week or more until he has to leave. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen with all that. If we're hanging there, then we will definitely be recording videos, which is one thing. Like, we'll be recording videos. We might live stream together. There might be up to 4 of us. We've talked about doing like a podcast or something. But I don't know what the schedule is going to look like for these next like 3 weeks. So pretty much the rest of May, I don't really know what the schedule is going to look like. I'll try to keep it consistent, and I will update you guys on Twitter if anything, but I can't really make any guarantees as to what exactly is going to happen. So do keep that in mind. Do be looking at my Twitter, which will be linked in the description below, as to my plans throughout the coming month and what I end up doing with my friends and stuff, and what we decide to do with live streaming, because I know that we'll record videos and stuff, and we'll be doing a lot of gaming, but we'll see exactly what ends up being the plan for live streaming during that time period. So yeah, we'll have to see, but hope you guys enjoyed this video. This was a little bit of a longer one. Yeah, this was about half an hour or so. Like I said, I would love to be able to finish Black Ops 1 and The Division. Those are my 2 sort of main games I'd like to finish. If anyone can join up with me for the co-op in Black Ops 1, so the zombie stuff, the zombies DLC, mainly the Easter eggs and a couple of miscellaneous moon trophies is all I have left. So between that and with Division, if you'd be willing to carry me through survival, be greatly appreciative of it. So yeah, please let me know if you want to help or join in with either of those games. And otherwise, I'll continue working on Red Dead 2, eventually take like a week and just sit down and try to finish it. I might have to do the same with Fallout 76 eventually as it starts to get more and more content. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and this week will be again a kind of a wonky schedule, so we'll see exactly what happens. And I will see you guys over the next few weeks. I will continue to put out these Platinum Trophy videos on Mondays, though. That should not be interrupted, thankfully. So these should still be out on Mondays, and I'll still be getting trophies, so that should still be pretty consistent. So hope you guys enjoyed the video. See ya these next few weeks.